All right. The next thing we're going to work on, we're going to go to classwork. We're going to go to, or sorry, not math, to the notebooks and to our math notebook. So Monday, we talked about the different operations. We talked about addition. We didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday, but I want to take a little bit and talk about some more of our operations today. The first day we focused on addition. Today we're going to focus on subtraction. And just like addition, subtraction has certain words that are big clues or big hints that they want us to use subtraction to do some math. Okay? And so some of these keywords are difference, decrease, minus, if they say less than. Now, this is the tricky part, and this is why only than is highlighted in green, because they could say less than, or they might say more than. The important part is this, where they say than. They might just tell you to subtract. They might ask you to separate. They might ask you to find what is left over, to take away something. They might ask you how much more or how many fewer. They might say less. And again, these ones that are highlighted, it doesn't mean that they're better than the other ones. It means those are the ones that we see the most often. So these ones are pretty common in math problems and word problems that lets you know, hey, this is probably a subtraction problem. We look here. Subtraction is used when usually it's used for three different things. Number one, subtraction is used when we're taking away something. So it could be taking away, like sometimes like we get in trouble. We get in trouble at our house and mom and dad take something away. So it might be taking away toys or video games or something like that. So taking away is one reason why you subtract. Another reason why you subtract is when you compare. Those of you, if you have a brother or sister, raise your hand. Okay, those of you who have brothers or sisters, have you ever tried to figure out which one of you is taller or shorter? What do you normally do when you're trying to figure out who's the taller and who's the shorter one? Who can tell me?
I know I'm the shortest.
How do you normally figure that out? Who's taller and who's shorter? Alexa, how do you normally figure it out?
Well, I just like measure ourselves like this.
Okay, so you kind of get close to each other and you put your hand like on top of your head and you go
Yeah.
like that, right? And you see, okay, does my hand go over your head or do I just like bonk you in the forehead? So you're comparing. Subtraction does the same thing. And they give us examples. Is this longer than or shorter than? Is it faster or slower than? Or is it more or less than? And again, look at that word. Than, than, than.
Aww.
So if they're comparing, that's another reason to subtract. The last reason why we subtract is we're looking for a missing part. So when they ask us how much more do they need or how many parts are they missing, if it was something like if you've ever put together like a Lego set
So
or a
cute.
puzzle, you know that at first you started with this huge box and it's got all these Lego pieces or all these puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And then you start to put it together. You've got more and more stuck together, and the puzzle gets bigger and bigger and bigger, or the Lego set gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you start to look in the box, all of a sudden there's not as many pieces left. So you could figure out how many pieces you have left using subtraction. So like this one, how many more miles does he need? Like if he's running a race and he's run some of it already, but he's not finished, you could use subtraction to figure out how much of that race is left. Or like if you're reading a book, how many pages are left? If someone's already started reading, you could use subtraction and figure out how much of the book they have left. Or like pizza. If you have a pizza and you started eating some of the pizza, you could use subtraction and figure out how many pieces of the pizza are left. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, and we're going to do two today because we didn't get a chance to yesterday, is multiplication. Multiplication also has some keywords. So, keywords for multiplication, they might say times more. So they might say 2 times more, 5 times more, 10 times more, like we were doing right now. Equal groups. Equal groups is a clue that you're going to be multiplying. If you know that something is getting bigger and it's getting bigger in equal groups, then that's a clue to multiply. If they ask you for a product, that's a big clue to multiply. If they use words like factor or multiple, or if they say rows of, like if something's in rows of 5 or groups of, like groups of 5, that's a big hint that you're going to be multiplying. If they say every or each or per, and when I say per, I don't mean per like what a cat does. Per is PER. If they say twice, or they say area, if they say total in all, or if they say an array, those are all clues to multiply. Multiplication is a lot like addition. Both of them, if you notice, they're on the same side here. There's a reason for that. Addition and multiplication both make your numbers bigger. The difference is addition can make something a little bit bigger or a lot bigger. Multiplication makes something bigger, but it always makes it bigger evenly. Always in even groups or in equal groups. That's why you have words like equal and every and per. It's always the same amount, always equal. So like addition, I could do a word problem like, let's say 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7. And all of those numbers keep changing. Multiplication is if it keeps getting bigger by the same amount, by an equal amount. So if it was 2 more, and 2 more, and 2 more, and 2 more, and 2 more. If that number is the same, 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, then I would use multiplication. The numbers have to be equal or even for you to use multiplication. And speaking of multiplication, we have here the reasons why we multiply. Again, if it's repeated, repeated means over and over again. Repeated addition of like quantity or groups means the same number. So here we have 3 plus 3 plus 3. If I look in the picture, I have 3, 3, and 3. So I could multiply by 3's here. Second reason is if they give me an area or an array model. If you look at how they lined up all these dots. They're all in equal rows, equal groups. Again, 3, 3, and 3. And if it's increasing, again, in equal increments. So look how many times that word popped up. Like, if we have equal, multiplication is all about equal groups, fair groups, the same number repeating over and over and over. That's super, super important to multiplication. All right. Let's practice a little bit with subtraction and then we'll practice a little bit with multiplication. Who can tell me a short word problem where you might subtract something? I'll leave it up here, that way you can see some of our key words. But who can give me a word problem that would use some of our subtraction words? Bailey, you have one.
I had 3 pencils,
Okay.
and sister needed 2 of them. How many are left over?
Ooh, that's a good one. I had 3 pencils. My sister borrowed 2. How many pencils do I have left? That's a good one. I like it. Who can give me another subtraction problem? Bella.
Um, well, how many? Okay, wait, no, never mind. There was 3 bunnies in the field. I mean, 5 bunnies in the field. 2 died of a disease. How many more is left?
Okay. Man, why'd the bunnies have to get sick? I thought they were going to have a happy ending. I thought they were just going to go get adopted by someone and become pets. Okay. So there were 3 bunnies. 2 of them died or got adopted. Whatever. Depends. And you ask how many are left. That's a good one. You had a group of bunnies. Some of them left. And how many are still there in the field? All right. Who can give me another subtraction one? So another subtraction problem. Kylie.
There were 3 sisters.
Okay.
They, one sister gave 2 pencils to the first sister, and then the second sister gave 2 pencils to the first sister. How much more pencils did the 2 sisters have?
Okay. Say it again from the beginning.
There were 3 sisters.
Okay.
Um, one of the sisters gave 2 pencils to the first sister.
Okay.
Then the second sister gave 2 pencils to the first sister. How much more pencils did the third and second sister have left?
Okay. The only thing that you're missing from that, Kylie, is you have to tell me how many pencils they had at the beginning. Because otherwise I can't do subtraction. So if you told me the second sister had 10 pencils and then she gave 2 away, then I can do my subtraction.
Okay.
But if you just tell me she gave 2 away, I don't know how many she had in the beginning.
Okay.
But I like that. You could have gotten 2 subtraction problems out of that one.
Yes,
You just got to remember to tell me how many they had to start with. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Who can give me one more subtraction problem and then we'll try multiplication?
Stop lying.
Nakai, let's see if your microphone will let you. Let's see if it'll stop fighting with you.
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you. All right.
Yay!
Give me a subtraction problem.
20 minus. Wait, no. 50 minus 20.
Well, you got to tell me. Give me a story with those words or with those numbers. So you have 50 what?
I don't
What's
have
something
a
you could
story.
have 50 of?
Um, 50 apples.
Okay, 50 apples, and then we got to get rid of some. How can you get rid of some of those apples?
Um, and then I gave some away. I gave 20 away to someone.
Okay, I like it. You're a nice guy, Nakai. So you gave away 20 apples. And then, what's the question? Try that one again. Didn't hear that one.
How many more apples are left?
Perfect. How many apples are left? That's awesome. So you had 50 apples. You're a nice guy, so you give away 20 apples. How many apples do you have left? All right. Let's try some multiplication problems. Who can give me?
How many apples are left?
Yep. How many apples are left? Okay. Alexa, you got one? We'll do one more subtraction then, and we'll move to multiplication afterward. So what's your subtraction story?
There was a little girl who went to go pick out some cherries.
Okay.
She had 24 cherries, but when she was running to go get more cherries, 5 of them slipped out. How much cherries does she have now?
Okay, so she had a bunch, but since she was running, some of the cherries fell out, and now we want to know, well, how many are left? That's a good one. All right. Multiplication. Who thinks they can give me a problem, a story that will have to use multiplication? Bella, a multiplication story, Bella. Tell me a multiplication story.
Okay.
Okay.
So there was 18 newborn dogs,
Okay.
and then whenever the girl was running, the 5 of them fell out. And how many are left?
Well, that would be a
Or-
subtraction problem. We want a multiplication problem. Yes, Brianna, that'll be next.
I
So
don't
we
know
want a
any then.
multiplication problem. Let's see, I have one. Okay. So I went to the store and I bought some packs of Pop-Tarts. There are 2 Pop-Tarts in each bag. If I buy 3 bags of Pop-Tarts, how many Pop-Tarts do I have? So that would be multiplication because I'd have 2 Pop-Tarts in one bag, 2 Pop-Tarts in the next bag, and then 2 Pop-Tarts in the third bag. 2, 2, and 2. I have my number repeating. Who can give me another story using multiplication? Kylie.
So are we doing division or
Multiplication.
I had 24 berries.
Okay.
And someone gave me 2 times as much berries I had.
Okay.
How much berries did I have now?
Okay, I like it. So you had 24 berries. Someone was really, really nice and gave you 2 times as much. And now how many do you have? So you have to multiply to figure that out. I like it.
I'm really good at multiplication. Like
Okay.
in 3rd grade, I was the best that I was already on division and everyone's still on subtraction and plus.
That's good. All right. Who can give me another multiplication story? I need a multiplication story. Something where I have the same number and over and over. Ezekiel, you got one?
Think before you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Left it? Okay, if it pops back in your head, raise your hand and let me know, okay? Violet, you have a multiplication story for me? Okay, what is it?
I had 17 pugs. Four of them were outside, and all the rest were inside. How many pugs are inside?
Okay, that would be a good one for subtraction. But for multiplication, I need the same number over and over again. I do like the
All right.
pugs though. So let's see. Okay, so let's stay talking about pugs. How many pugs do you think you that one person might have, like as a pets?
6.
6? Wow, that's a lot of pugs. Okay.
How much we used to have?
Oh yeah? Okay, so let's say that there are 6 pugs. And then you go to the park with your pugs because they want to run. And there are 6 more. So now we have our number repeating. Then we could multiply to figure that out. Because multiplication has to have that same number over and over again. So if you have the 6 pugs, you go to the park and you see 6 more, how many pugs are there now? That would be multiplication. But I like the pugs. I like the idea of that. We just got to remember that we have to have our numbers repeating. All right? Jaylene, you have a multiplication story for me?
Um, there there was 6 chairs, and then 5 more came. How many chairs are in total?
Close. Remember, you have to have that same number over and over again. So if there were 6 chairs, you have to have 6 more come. So it's always got to be the same number. Okay, Jaylene? That was really close. You just have to make sure if it's 6 chairs in the beginning, you have to have another 6 chairs that join them. Otherwise, it would just be addition, not multiplication. Multiplication needs to have the same number over and over and over. That's why usually when we have multiplication problems, we'll talk about things that come in boxes or packages. Because usually things that come in boxes or packages always have the same number. Like I gave you guys the example of the Pop-Tarts. Those always come in the little bags and there's always 2 inside the bag. Or like those cupcakes, the ones that have the chocolate frosting with the little white swirl on top. Those always come in packs of 2. So things in packs or boxes usually have the same number. So long as you have the same number over and over again, that's what makes it multiplication. Okay, let's do one more multiplication story and then we'll move on. Who can give me another multiplication story? Bella, you got a multiplication one for me?
There was 2 dogs that were running,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 dogs came in to run with them. How many dogs were in total?
Okay, I like that. There are 2 dogs running. 2 more dogs came and joined them. How many dogs are there now? And the good thing about multiplication problems is we could keep going. We could have 2 dogs running, 2 more dogs showed up, and then when they got to the park, they found 2 more dogs. So long as we keep using that same number over and over again, it's still multiplication. 2 and 2 and 2. All right.